Gone are those magical days when I remember being captivated by players who themselves analyzed, took control, and decided matches. Nearly every major Brazilian team had a top-class native playmaker, the nucleus from which a team's attacking options originated and grew from. The typical number 10. Also, the type of player that made fans dread going through their club's news headlines during the offseason. More often than not, a time where you expected headlines telling which one of your heroes were snatched up by which hungry for talent, big-moneyed European club. This has basically been the case since Pelé immortalized the number 10 jersey in Brazil back in 1958, reserving it for the truly talented, intelligent, meticulous articulators. The best example of how well it worked out was Brazil of Mexico 1970, quite possibly the greatest World Cup squad the planet has ever seen. Well, nowadays, with advanced technology and the world catching up to modern football tactics, these players have become a bit harder to come by. Don't get me wrong, European sides still look towards Brazil during the offseason, but the days when players like Zico, Kaká, and Ronaldinho Gaúcho were launched with a bit more frequency are somewhat over. Felipe Coutinho of Liverpool is the first and really the only one that comes to my mind. But one must really ask, when we crave these rare, precious jewels for our clubs, are we thinking with romanticism through our hearts, or are we being logical and thinking with our minds? Because really, pumping out a player like Ronaldinho per season, players who alone influence the outcome of a game in a collective team sport like football, are about as rare as Greece winning the European Championship again. With that being said, and on a much better note for Brazil, a more common sight today are these physically strong, top-quality defensive midfielders, the former traditional number 5 or number 8, but better. First and foremost, they're defensive-minded and always inclined or programmed to support by returning to position, becoming much less of a liability, such as exposing the backline when they move forward. Players like Paulinho and especially Lucas Silva, Real Madrid's newest investment. These guys are developed domestically by coaches who initially wanted to play it safe and create defenders, but Brazilians are footballers by blood, and our game is known to have been captivatingly offensive. Even our wing-backs, Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Dani Alves, and Marcelo, are valued for their offensive qualities, unlike the average European wing-back. The same applies for these guys, midfielders who turn out to attack. First, developed due to necessity to make up for a lack of creative midfielders, now a revolutionary super-valued trend bringing attention back to Brazilian football. Not everyone adapts, so it doesn't always work, but the foundation of the modern-day successful Brazilian team starts with a solid holding midfield duo where one or both possess qualities developed early in their career to make up for the lack of the traditional number 10, players that captivated audiences to our 5-time world champion football in the first place, but quite possibly the future of the prototypical Brazilian export commodity in this beautiful, complicated, ever-shifting ordeal that goes by the name of football. Thank you until next time.